Nowadays, everyone has a lot of opportunities to learn the theory and try to trick their opponents with a trap or an unsound gambit. For example, Stafford Gambit in Russian game. I'm talking about this position. It almost never happens in Grandmasters games, but it's so popular among club players, especially on the internet. Club players are more likely to make a mistake in uncomfortable and unfamiliar positions. Would you like to learn how to beat Stafford Gambit and get a quick win with white pieces? Just watch this video to the very end, learn at least the first 6 moves and implement it in your games. Okay, this is FIDE Master Viktor Neustroyev and how to beat Stafford Gambit.
Okay, so e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, we take on e5, and the main line is of course d6, knight goes there, knight takes e4, and in this position we can play either d4 or knight c3. But it's not Stafford line, it's the main line, and instead of playing d6 in this position, black would like to trick us with knight c6. What should we do? We gain the pawn. Should we accept the gambit? The answer is of course yes. Take on c6, d takes c6 to open the bishop. What move to play next? The pawn on e4 is hanging, and this is our main problem. We can play knight c3 or d3, 2 moves protecting this pawn. However, I kindly recommend you playing d3. Why? Let me show you. For example, knight c3, bishop c5, and then you have to play something to secure the g4 square, for example, h3. The position is still fine, but you are under the pressure. For example, you have to move the queen to defend. If instead you play d3, after bishop c5, you still keep in mind the idea of playing c3, d4, closing this diagonal and building a strong pawn chain using the dark squares. So bishop c5 is played. One of the main moves here is attack on f2 for black. This is one of the ideas. And the next move they're gonna do is knight g4. So we should secure this square. How? Of course, we can play with the edge pawn, but it's much better to develop the pieces, bishop e2, to prevent knight g4. And definitely not knight c3, which is a mistake. Then after knight g4, we have no ideas of how to protect the pawn on f2. And definitely not bishop g5, because after bishop g5, black can apply their main idea, which is knight takes e4, sacrificing the queen, bishop f2 check, king moves to e2, which is the only square, and bishop g4 mate. Here in Stafford Gambit there are a lot of such variations wherein black sacrifices something on f2 and then gain the initiative, material, or checkmate. That's why you should learn at least these 6 moves. Bishop to e2 is the 6th one. What then? On practice I saw h5 move, however it's not the best option. Knight g4 is considered to be better. They give up the knight, but after queen h4 they are able to get this knight back. They are threatening a mate on f2, and our bishop on g4 is hanging as well. We have a lot of moves, including castling. However, the best and maybe the most simple one is queen f3. And after they capture on g4, we just play queen g3, offering a queen straight. And finally, for example, we trade the queens, we are a pawn up, there is no compensation, and later we can trade a bishop pair, so white is much better. You may ask me, what if they don't want to trade the queens but play queen h5? If so, don't forget that these 2 pawns are weaknesses, and play f3. Bishop comes to e6, you can capture on g7, for example. After king moves, you can still offer a trade. After that, if they, for example, play something else, let's say queen e5, knight c3, you may play bishop e3, trade your dark squared bishop, and then your position is solid, plus you have 2 extra pawns here. So knight g4 won't be a problem. This is the strongest move, but h5 is more popular, with the intention of knight g4. Don't worry, just build your pawn chain. c3, knight g4, d4. What move to expect? Usually they move the bishop, but they can also play queen h4. If so, g3, queen escapes to f6, and then you can play f3, after which two of his pieces are hanging. However, the position may be too complicated in case if black plays h4. That's why I don't want you to gain a piece but play just bishop f3. They retreat with their bishop to e7, h3, knight moves to the edge of the board, and then your position is much better. You have extra pawn, plus you can take on h5 anytime you want. Just develop your pieces. Okay, let's go back. Usually they play bishop d6 in this position instead of queen h4. You can continue with e5, bishop e7 now, h3, knight moves to the corner. And in this position, of course, taking on h5 is a good idea, but maybe you will consider it too risky. That's why just castle and continue your piece's development. Okay, this is what you should remember about Stafford Gambit. Let me just repeat the first 6 moves. e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. Starts like an ordinary Russian game, but after knight e5, they offer a trade of knights. You should accept it. And then don't forget to play d3. d3 looks like a passive move that restricts the bishop, but at the same time, here, while you are already one pawn up, you should choose the most solid moves. Bishop c5 with the intention of knight g4, bishop e2 to secure this square. That's enough to learn and get a much better position.
In this video you learn how to play against Stafford Gambit successfully and obtain a huge advantage after the first 10 to 12 moves. You also learned the ideas and plans that black wants to apply. Even if you forget the move order, you can remember it, based on the threats that you expect black to create. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share it with your friends chess players. Now I want you to play a few games online, get some practice, and demonstrate that Stafford Gambit is an unsound gambit and can be played only against lower-rated players who don't know any theory there. Please also share your games and the analysis into the comment section below this video. You know, learning openings is important, but your ability to calculate and visualize the position is even more important. That's why I highly recommend watching a short video on the screen next about chess visualization. Okay, enjoy my ultimate guide how to improve your chess visualization, and I'll see you there in a moment.